Hello there, it's another Wednesday night, News Extra night, and I can assure you it's truly extra in a way you cannot imagine. The country is back to square one on the presidential and National Assembly elections. So, naturally, politics is still dominating as Nigerians gear up for this Saturday. There is good news for federal civil servants over this month's salaries. I guess alerts are already entering. Air and road travelers also to enjoy rebates. That is if they're going to vote. But it's not going to be all politics. We have business news, some development stories, and of course, sports news. So, be my guest as we take this ride on News Extra. I am Fatima Abbas Hassan. It's always a pleasure to bring News Extra to you. President Muhammadu Buhari has described as disheartening and counterproductive the way and manner few privileged individuals in Nigeria were significantly enriched following systematic abuse of power over the decades, thereby making the nation's majority poorer and undeserved. Speaking at the swearing-in ceremony of the newly appointed permanent secretaries, the president said more than ever before, the country needs vibrant, professional and selfless servants to overcome her pressing challenges. State House correspondent Adamawa has the details.
8 new permanent secretaries took oath of office to fill existing vacancies in the Federal Civil Service. Amongst them, Abel Olumiyewa Enitong from Osun State, Dr. Mohammed Kyari Dikwa, Borno, Dr. Ajani Magdalene Nwawuche, Delta, and Festus Yusuf Dauda, Nasarawa. The rest are Maurice Namdi Bayeri, Imo, Dr. Bakari Wadinga, Adamawa, Babatunde Lawal, Lagos, and Ernest Afolabi, Umahihi, Edo State. President Muhammadu Buhari, who congratulated the appointees for their remarkable achievements, however, reminded them that the positions they now occupy come with a lot of responsibilities.
As politicians, we develop policies and provide strategic direction for the nation. However, the task of implementing these policies and strategies rests in the hands of the civil service under the able guardians of the permanent secretaries. Therefore, I wish to take this opportunity to solicit your support and cooperation as we implement all the programs of government in a result-oriented manner that will leave an indelible legacy. In doing this, you must all remain above board and eschew partisanship in your decisions and actions. You must strive to achieve excellence at all times. Your motto should be civility and serviceability.
The president lamented how successive administrations in the country abused, undermined, and destroyed the systems of checks and balances in the civil service meant to protect and preserve the interests of the citizenry. Consequently, he said Nigerians lost confidence in government and its ability for guidance and effective service delivery.
As you settle into your new roles and postings as permanent secretaries, we expect you will also key into the administration's programs aimed at reforming Nigeria and restoring the confidence of Nigerians in government and the civil service. To enable you to achieve this, we approved the Federal Civil Service Strategy and Implementation Plan 2017 to 2020. When fully implemented, we would have successfully transformed the civil service into an efficient, productive, incorruptible, and citizen-centered machinery of government.
While wishing the new permanent secretaries a successful tenure, President Muhammadu Buhari reaffirmed his administration's commitment to the welfare of civil servants and at all times capacity building in the civil service. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
In another development, the federal government has ordered the immediate payment of February's salary to its civil servants across the country. This is to make it easy for those that have to travel for the purpose of exercising their franchise in the rescheduled general elections. Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed announced this while briefing newsmen after the meeting of the Federal Executive Council. State House correspondent Adamawa reports that the council also applauded the various corporate organizations for their magnanimous undertakings in the support of the electoral process. We'll be bringing you details of that report in the course of the program. Now, from Thursday, February 21st, 2019 to Monday the 25th, eligible voters willing to travel to their respective localities to vote will pay only half of the fare. This 50% reduction in fares is the contribution of the National Union of Road Transport Workers towards a successful election. Patriotic, if you ask me. Well, our correspondent, Emmanuel Ayimiro, has the details.
The decision by the leadership of the union is in respect of the postponement of the presidential and National Assembly elections rescheduled for Saturday this week, in which many Nigerians incurred a lot of expenses to be part of the exercise. The NURTW says the initiative is to ensure no eligible voter is disenfranchised because of the postponement.
So we hereby direct all our state councils to immediately pass the information round to the whole 36 state council, including Abuja, that starting from tomorrow, the 15% deduction should be made to anybody that is traveling to vote in its various states across the nation.
A social media platform will be available for electorate to report any driver of NURTW who violates the directive.
The electorate must present their PVC at the point of loading to ascertain that such a person is going for election in
It's very, very thoughtful of them to have reduced the transport fares because of the difficulties people will have had in, moving from one location to another.
It augurs well for them being patriotic in trying to help people who have already spent money and are now having to go back again to do something that was meant to have happened last week.
The National Union of Road Transport Workers urges INEC to release electoral materials to their drivers early enough to avoid delays on the election day. Emmanuel Ayimiro, NTA News.
Many thanks, Emmanuel. Now, do you know that your permanent voter card is not just a means of exercising your franchise? In fact, it is a gateway to numerous benefits. Now, airline operators are using this instrument as a prerequisite for rebate. Michael Olaye now brings us the gist of the problem.
With days to the presidential and National Assembly polls, the importance of the permanent voter cards is transversing electoral value, as it has now become an instrument to enjoy subsidized flight rates. This initiative was taken due to the postponement of last Saturday's election. Now, airline operators believe the rebate process will reduce the cost passengers might incur in their quest to exercise their civic duties.
To support Nigerians to move around without pain and inconvenience, and creating a soft landing, economic soft landing, by reducing our fares today from an average of 35,000 to 16,000. So you can go to the airport. If you have your PVC, and you can show that your location is different from the airport where you are and you want to transport, we're creating that window.
Travelers like Abdullahi Jallo has already shelved the idea of going on another trip, basically not because of stress, but financial constraint. With this saving grace, he is already on his way to the north for the election.
Now, I'm taking a flight from Lagos to Abuja, from Abuja to Gombe. This reduction has now made even those that have came from far away to come back.
The willingness for people to vote will surely be there more, because when you've seen commitment from the other side, it takes two to tango. When you are committed to me, I will be committed to you. That's what it means.
It's a round-trip ticket, so we expect you to go and vote and come back within 48 hours or 72 hours after voting. It's not an elastic ticket forever.
This initiative, which is to mobilize for the active participation of the electorate in the democratic process, is expected to last till the 12th of next month. In Lagos, Michael Olaleye, NT News.
And on to diplomatic relations now. President Muhammadu Buhari has pledged Nigeria's cooperation to ongoing efforts at reducing global oil output towards attracting high prices in the international market. This was while granting audience to the special envoy of King Salman bin Abdulaziz of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. State House correspondent Adamawa has the details.
President Muhammadu Buhari said as a responsible member of the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries OPEC, Nigeria is willing to go along with the Saudi initiative in limiting output so that prices will go up. He explained that output cuts had always been difficult for Nigeria, considering the country's peculiar circumstances of large population, huge expanse of land, and state of underdevelopment. The president said, although Nigeria wish it can produce more, it is in the interest of the country to listen and cooperate with other players in the critical economic sector, and promised to call for the latest production figures. As he puts it, during the closed-door meeting, higher oil prices will make both Nigeria and Saudi Arabia stronger and their citizens more prosperous. He commended King Salman for his leadership in global oil matters, saying Nigeria will continue to accord respect to the kingdom in that regard. The Special Envoy and Minister of State for African Affairs, Ahmad Katan, had told the president that both King Salman and the Crown Prince are expressing their best wishes for Nigeria as the country goes into general elections. He said Saudi Arabia had reduced its output by 1.4 million barrels per day to ensure that prices went up, stressing, however, that the kingdom alone cannot bring stability to the oil market and show up prices. The special envoy said King Salman is calling for greater adherence to production cuts by Nigeria and hope that he will take a positive message back home. From the State House, Adamawa, NTA News.
And now we bring you the good news of the payment of salaries to encourage voting. The federal government has ordered the immediate payment of February's salary to its civil servants across the country. This is to make it easy for those that have to travel for the purpose of exercising their franchise in the rescheduled general elections. Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed announced this while briefing newsmen after the meeting of the Federal Executive Council. State House correspondent Adamawa reports that the council also applauded the various corporate organizations for their magnanimous undertakings in support of the electoral process. We're still working on that report and we'll bring you the details in the course of this program. Now, the general elections is serious business, and non-partisanship is what the Nigerian army demands from its personnel. Now, mark my word, demands, not asks. For the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, any army personnel who is not sure of his or her loyalty should say bye-bye to the service within the next 3 days. The Army Chief gave the directive while addressing officers at a meeting preparatory to the 2019 rescheduled elections. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa completes the report.
These are principal officers and commanders at an expanded critical meeting to appraise security measures in place for the rescheduled 2019 elections.
The unity of Nigeria.
The Army Chief directed commanders to maintain a proactive posture and conduct regular patrol to tackle any election crime in view of the recent reactions from members of the society.
Should any officer or soldier have doubts as to his loyalty to the Nigerian state as presently constituted, such a person has up to the 22nd of this month to resign. There is no room for indiscipline or disobedience to lawful orders in the Nigerian Army today.
While the Army remains apolitical and professional, General Buratai advised politicians not to smear the integrity of the formation.
Direct and public incitement of the Nigerian military against democracy and constituted authority will not be tolerated. I request such persons that make such statements to withdraw these inciting statements.
Commanders are to key into the election situation room for prompt delivery of security reports of their areas of responsibility. The Army Chief also commended President Muhammadu Buhari for its unflinching support to the fighting formation towards achieving its constitutional mandate. From the Nigerian Army headquarters in Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
And as political activities climax towards elections, ballot box snatching, a trending but worrisome phenomenon negating the mandate of the electorate, has continued to dominate national discourse. Correspondent Ahmed Ondas Ahmed interacted with some Nigerians on their perception of the crime within the Electoral Act and what punitive measures are good enough to curtail the menace as Nigeria prepares for yet another general elections from Saturday.
So definitely it's not good. It's not good in any way. So, if I'm to connect that to what Mr. President said 2 days ago at their meeting, one thing Mr. President has done is to raise the awareness of citizens around the electoral offense of ballot snatching. So people are already aware, and I guess the security agencies will be on the lookout for people that want to get involved in electoral offense like ballot snatching. But
the ballot box is a confusionist. It's a thief, it's a destroyer, it's a scatterer. The punishment I would design for anybody box is the punishment that I will met on anybody, any man I meet on top of my wife in my bedroom. Anything that happens to that man can equally happen to a ballot box snatcher.
That the country is not good, so I also use snatching the ballot box now, as it doesn't give us the right and it doesn't give us the opportunity to choose the right person. So I just left to me. I know it's not good at all. It's more or less stealing, and we all know that it's not just cool.
So what do you think? Of course, it's one of the worst things that could happen during an election for someone to snatch a ballot box. And as a result, you have heard the conversation that is going around concerning such activity. You understand? It's even a crime to snatch a ballot box. So it's a very wrong thing to do, because snatching a ballot box is snatching the mandate of the Nigerian people. Yes.
The people who are snatching ballot boxes is a sign of inordinate ambition to people who might have sent them for that purpose. And to me, anybody found snatching bosses, the law will catch up at that person.
It's a very bad thing to do. It's put our electoral process in disrepute, and I don't believe any well-meaning Nigerian should engage in it. Yeah, it's not good.
So what do you think?
A cross-section of Nigerians there expressing their opinion on the issue of ballot box snatching. Now, following the postponement of the elections, INEC now reports to Nigerians on a daily basis the level of preparedness ahead of the D-Day. Yes, you heard me right. E-Day, that is election day. Was there headway made today? Now, let's join Mie Ogidi for an update.
The news of the postponement of the elections by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, on the 16th of February 2019 was a common pain all Nigerians shared. However, the chairman later came out and apologized to all Nigerians and those in the diaspora of the inconvenience that postponement might have caused. Thereafter, he came up with a 6-point agenda. 1, deployment of all materials, followed by reconfiguration of the smart cards and refresher training for ad hoc staff. On Tuesday, 19th of February 2019, the chairman told Nigerians that 95% of the smart cards have been reconfigured and non-sensitive materials taken back to the Central Bank of Nigeria, and promised that more effort will be put in on Wednesday. So we have gathered here on Wednesday to hear from him some of the improvements they have made.
Similarly, that having moved the sensitive materials to the 37 states and the Federal Capital Territory, the forward deployment to the 774 local government areas nationwide will commence today, Wednesday, 20th February 2019.
Away from that cheering news, some critical issues were raised. 1, the condition of ad hoc staff following the postponement of the elections. 2, court litigations, especially on campaign funding, and some states that didn't submit candidates for various political offices. Above all, the distribution of election materials where some sensitive materials were missing was another issue raised by civil society organizations at the briefing, and the chairman reacted accordingly.
And every ballot paper will be stamped by the presiding officer at the polling unit. But I want to assure you that anything that the Commission can do to make the core members comfortable and all other staff, including their welfare and security, will do so. The next question is APC in Rivers. I think the Supreme Court has made a number of pronouncements on that matter. And for that reason, the Commission has taken the decision going by the judgment of the Supreme Court.
At the end of the briefing, some Nigerians, however, commended INEC for the initiative as the briefing updates them of developments in the political arena. Mayor Ogidi, NTA News.
And we now bring you the good news on the payment of salaries to enable voters travel to cast their vote. The federal government has ordered the immediate payment of February salaries to its civil servants across the country. Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed announced this at the end of the meeting of the Federal Executive Council while briefing newsmen. Here we bring you the details of that report.
Without doubt, the postponement of elections by INEC few hours before the commencement of voting disappointed many, particularly those who traveled long distances for the exercise. Notwithstanding their commitment to exercising their civic duties, some Nigerians, especially the less privileged, might be forced to drop the idea due to the high cost of transportation, but not anymore. Apart from the salary payment ordered by the federal government, the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, National Union of Road Transport Workers, and some airline operators have also taken measures towards easing movements by Nigerians to vote. The Federal Executive Council meeting, presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari, appreciated such patriotic gestures by the corporate organizations, as explained by the Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed.
The Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, with over 50,000 members, and who control about 80% of all petroleum distribution network. They announced a reduction of the price of petroleum motor spirit from 145 naira per liter to 140 per liter. Also, the National Union of Road Transport Workers offered to provide discount to travelers using their motor parks and members who are looking to travel to their respective voting points. ARIC and Aero Airlines have also thrown in their own incentives. Aero contractors has offered a 50% discount to all travelers who present their permanent voters card. INEC Airlines will be selling their one-way tickets at 16,000 to any destination across the country.
Members of the council also expressed delight over the recent report on the nation's economic growth by the National Bureau of Statistics for the fourth quarter of last year. Minister of Budget and National Planning, Udoma, briefed the council on the report indicating the strongest economic performance by Nigeria so far since exiting recession. It shows, amongst others, an enhanced real GDP growth by 2.38%, driven principally by the non-oil sector, which grew by 2.7%. Services sector also recorded its best performance in 11 quarters, growing by 2.96%.
Very heartwarming statistics for the government. It shows that the policies of the government are working. The economy is on a path of growth. Of course, we are not where we ultimately want to get to, but all the indices are very positive. And it shows the impact of the releases, the funds we've been releasing into the economy.
The Federal Executive Council is particularly delighted that 39 out of 49 economic activities in Nigeria recorded significant growth, amongst them agriculture and manufacturing, which grew by 2.46% and 2.3% respectively. From the State House, Adamu, NTA News.
Well, if there's one thing Nigerians are known for, it is being friendly and hospitable, especially to foreigners. As the countdown to the rescheduled elections continues, diplomatic interaction deepens. This report and many more will come after the break. Join us again.
The UN compound houses about 400 employees.
The Nigerian capital Abuja is still reeling from Monday morning's rush hour bomb.
If the group did carry out the attack, it would be one of its worst.
2 suicide bombings in Nigeria. One targeted a convoy carrying Nigeria's main opposition leader.
Gun attack on the central mosque in North Nigeria's biggest city, Kano.
21 people have died in a large explosion at the Banex Plaza shopping centre in the capital, Abuja.
Islamist extremists brought Christmas carnage to churches across Nigeria.
Inner strength, yeah, that comes from the hard knocks that life throws at us. And we Nigerians, we know all about that. You don't stay down, you get up and fight. Sure, it's about speed, technique, quality of the punches, reach. But the real fight is with myself.
It's the power, but it's the speed as well.
But I can't carry this heavyweight title by myself. There's always got to be someone in my corner. And that's why I believe in Glow. We have that same tenacity, that Nigerian fighting spirit that makes us game changers. You have to dig deep to be a world champion. But yeah, we Nigerians, yeah, we know all about that.
What a fight!
Glow, our halo.
Heavyweight champion of the world!
Nigeria na we country, APC na the party, na woman be our choice. Nigeria na we country, APC na the party, na woman be our choice. Who be the president we know? Na he be the president we want. Who be the president we know. Now he be the president we want to finish him war.
People of Nigeria, now we for a couple of support group, the joint President Muhammadu Buhari beg all of us for the election where INEC carry go another date. Now as the thing begs everybody, now so it vex President Buhari. People of Nigeria, make we all patient, make we not give up, make we ready to come out this Saturday election day to vote Muhammadu Buhari as president and Professor Yemi Osinbajo as vice president. Them know the tell blind man says salt they super. As we vote him again, work go jaburata, more money go share for our market women and men where they do business and many other better things. Oga President Buhari, Nigeria people they your back, carry go. This message now from Eco Plus support group. Bam.
I have seen these young Africans prosper, from some who didn't even know what to do with their lives until they got the $5,000 seed capital from Tony Elumelu Foundation, and the mentorship and the training. That gladdens my heart.
I saw this ad about the Tony Elumelu Foundation. I applied. That was the pivotal moment.
Africa Fashion Week London just came after I participated in the Tony Elumelu Foundation entrepreneurship programs.
Tony Elumelu, grâce à sa fondation, permet de donner une boussole à tous les entrepreneurs de cette fondation.
Our role is not only to empower young Africans directly, we should be a voice, advocate, catalyst for economic empowerment of Africa.
The future of Africa is in your hands.
Become a Tony Elumelu entrepreneur. Apply now.
His popularity in Delta State is outstanding. Deltans love and adore our president. APC! From Warri, Agbo, Asaba, and Ogwashiku. From Iseluku, Obiaruku, Ugeli, Ozoro, Owe, and Sapele. Come with us to Bamadi, Burutu, Ole, and Abraka. Nigeria! Everywhere in Delta, our people yearn for Mr. President. Let's vote and re-elect President Muhammadu Buhari as president. Vote Great Oveja Ogboru for governor. Vote APC.
I go really early, oh, I know your story. I go Yaba to buy material. I go time my kele, yeah, I go no say I don't. If you see my kele, oh, it go wound everybody. Let me guide you to yellow. Let me guide you to yellow. Let me guide you to yellow.
3G is great, 4G is better. You don't know what you're missing till you experience it. Upgrade to a 4G device and SIM, SMS Get to 141 to enjoy double data on Nigeria's widest 4G network.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
I am fully persuaded that Nigeria needs a man who is credible. I am Chris Okotie. Dependable and trustworthy.
I am Chris Okotie.
I am Chris Okotie.
My mandate, therefore, will be to set up government which I've christened Government of National Reconciliation and Reconstruction as the mechanical instrumentality for the crystallization of the new Nigeria of our dreams. It's time to love Nigeria. It's time to fix Nigeria. I'm Reverend Chris Okotie.
It's time to fix Nigeria. If you love Nigeria, say,
Nigeria, land of great people. The general elections are here again. Exercise your civic responsibility. The Christian Council of Nigeria is calling Nigerians of voting age to participate actively in the electoral process. Your vote is your power. It's your right. Yes, your vote counts. Shun tribal, religious, and ethnic sentiments. Support politics without violence. It's one person, one vote. Let us conduct ourselves orderly during and after the elections. Don't be used as a political thug. Together, we can make Nigeria greater. This message is powered by the Christian Council of Nigeria, CCN.
Future Assured program, in conjunction with the National Directorate of Employment, welcomes women from the 6 councils of the FCT. To an empowerment program to be chaired by the wife of the President, Her Excellency, Dr. Mrs. Aisha Buhari, date Thursday, 21st February 2019, time 10 a.m. Venue, Banquet Hall, State House, Asokoro, Abuja. Invited guests are to be seated by 9 a.m. prompt. Announcer Dr. Hajo Sani, Senior Special Assistant to the President.
You're still watching NTA News Extra, reaching you live from the network service of the NTA. And still talking politics, the national leader of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has appealed to party faithful in Lagos State to ensure that the party comes top with their votes during the election. He made the plea at a stakeholders meeting in Lagos. Tunde Saiki brings us the details.
National leader of the APC, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, says the stakeholders meeting has become imperative following the last-minute postponement of the election by the Independent National Electoral Commission, and to resensitize party faithful on why they must be resolute in making the party's candidates win all the positions in the election. He appealed to members to carry the message of making Nigerian get to the next level with their PVCs.
Go and vote. Deliver your vote to APC. We must go out and we will elect our president, our senators, our honorables. Then the next one, our governors and state houses of assembly. He warned youths to be cautious and desist from any act of thuggery and violence during the election. Our own is to celebrate democracy. It's not to create violence. It's not to obstruct freedom of people exercising their franchise. You know, people take these things for granted, and every election year we see people doing that. They arrest them, they release them, they go. This one, you will run on the way.
The stakeholders meeting had all the party officials, the state governor and his deputy, all the candidates for the various positions in the elections, as well as other party faithful in attendance. In Lagos, Tunde Saiki, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Director of Election Planning and Monitoring of the APC Presidential Campaign Council, Babatunde Fashola, has requested that the vigilance of their party agents must be at all time high throughout the elections. He stated this at a press conference in Abuja, where he presented election manual to the APC agents. Saliu Abdullahi was there and now reports.
Babatunde Fashola urged party faithful to see the one-week extension for the presidential and National Assembly elections as an opportunity to honor the sacrifice others have made in entrenching democracy in Nigeria by being law-abiding. He says much is expected from the agents, who are the party's ambassadors during the polls.
They have a right to be admitted to the polling units and the collation centers within the constituency where the political party is contesting election. They have a right to take notes of events and statistics in a manner that does not interfere with or impugn the integrity and sanctity of the electoral process. They have a right to object to the issuance of ballot papers to a prospective voter if the prospective voter is suspected to be an impostor.
He comments on the methods adopted to ensure transparency in the forthcoming exercise.
They say, okay, this is the severe punishment for those who do a wrong act. What's your business with wrong act if you want to do good act? Let the votes of Nigerians count. Let everybody check that nobody has put something inside. That's our purpose here. So let us see who the true believer in the process and who the true Democrat really is now. Because it's one man, one vote. One candidate, one vote.
He acknowledged that conducting a free and fair election is a pride of the party and the leadership of President Muhammadu Buhari. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi, NTA News.
And still on the 2019 general elections, the Minister of Communications, Adebayo Shitu, has urged Nigerians to come out en masse and re-elect President Muhammadu Buhari to consolidate on his antecedents of addressing key challenges facing the nation. The minister, in an exclusive interview with NTA News on a wide range of issues, said the foundation for Nigeria's development has been laid by President Buhari in his first tenure and needs the second term to build on.
They are better off under a Buhari administration because everybody trusts that Buhari will not steal the commonwealth of this country and will not allow anybody to steal any sort of thing. This coming election, every participant, every stakeholder will be more vigilant, and I think the security forces would also be very vigilant. And I'm happy also that Mr. President has given the appropriate instructions to security forces to be vigilant to ensure that nobody compromises the integrity of next Saturday's election.
Adebayo Shitu encouraged Nigerians to exercise their franchise and not be discouraged by INEC's postponement of the earlier scheduled date for the elections. The APC elders in Adamawa Central, headed by Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Gida Mustafa, have reaffirmed their commitment to ensuring total victory of President Muhammadu Buhari and all APC candidates in the rescheduled general elections. They were speaking during a stakeholders meeting in Yola, the Adamawa state capital. Yusuf Jika has that report.
With the postponement of the Presidential and National Assembly elections to 23rd February 2019, various political groups and associations are back to the campaign field to mobilize support for the victory of President Muhammadu Buhari and all APC candidates. Elders of the Adamawa Central were not left out as they gathered to reaffirm their commitment to work towards the success of President Buhari. According to them, the postponement of the election has further re-energized them to sensitize the electorate not to be discouraged but believe in Nigerian project by voting President Buhari.
Na tabbatar kuma mutane sun ga alama akwai gyara a kasan nan. Dalilin da yasa suke goyon bayan President Muhammadu Buhari.
The elders who called on people not to engage in any violence during and after the election said a vote for APC is a vote for continuous development of Adamawa State and the country as a whole. In Yola, Yusuf Jika, NTA News.
Well, do you know that farmers account for a sizable percentage of eligible voters in Nigeria, and their stand could determine who wins the forthcoming general elections? Well, if that's the case, what kind of leader and qualities an average Nigerian farmer should vote for as the country decides on Saturday? Musa Baba Aliyu takes a look at Nigerian farmers and the 2019 elections.
12.2 million registered rice farmers in Nigeria, currently benefiting from the federal government Rice Revolution program. The group, apart from adopting President Muhammadu Buhari as its presidential candidate, it's also mobilizing other farmers to see the need for continuity in the agricultural revolution that has lifted the socioeconomic status of farmers. The group believes that the re-election of the president will ensure Nigeria's self-sufficiency in food production.
This present administration has been supporting rice production or general agricultural production in Nigeria. It's not only about rice, it's about virtually all the commodities in the country.
Maize farmers, on the other hand, are mobilizing 5 million votes for President Muhammadu Buhari. Bello Abubakar Funtua is the president of the association. He is optimistic that the re-election of President Muhammadu Buhari would move the nation from overdependence on crude oil.
Today, we are here to express all the progress and the achievements that we have gone so far under this present administration and to show our total pledged support for the coming election 2019. That is our total support to President Muhammadu Buhari.
Mieti Allah Cattle Breeders Association is another group canvassing more votes for President Muhammadu Buhari. In Abuja, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
Well, the rescheduled presidential and National Assembly elections have remained at the top of discourse in Nigeria and elsewhere, as the world anxiously awaits its outcome. That is perhaps why Nigeria's Foreign Affairs Minister, Geoffrey Onyema, is talking to heads of diplomatic missions and international organizations accredited to Nigeria to assure them that indeed Nigeria will not disappoint the world when the votes are eventually cast and counted. Foreign Desk correspondent Makut Simon Macha tells us about this diplomatic interaction.
Nigeria's elections are significant not only for Nigerians but for the world at large, primarily because of the place the country occupies in the international community. This is why, ahead of the rescheduled presidential and National Assembly elections this Saturday, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Onyema, convened an interactive session with heads of diplomatic missions and international organizations accredited to Nigeria to give them an update on the elections. He is joined by the Acting Inspector General of Police, Muhammad Adamu, and INEC Chairman, who is represented by National Commissioner, Dr. Mustafa Leki. The minister expressed government's disappointment over the rescheduling of the elections, but assured the international community that the Buhari administration remains committed to a process that will produce free, fair, and credible outcome.
Most importantly, Mr. President and all Nigerians absolutely demand that on Saturday, elections should be held. We cannot accept, and we will not accept, any excuses or any other reason. They have to be held on Saturday, and nothing less will be acceptable to government, and indeed I'm sure to Nigerians.
For INEC and the police, the interaction provided another opportunity to respond to some concerns raised by the diplomats and the media on the state of readiness for Saturday's rescheduled elections.
We have no reason to feel that anything will go wrong. We've received all the materials. They have been checked, audited. People have been informed, deployed by Friday to the Iraq. An election will definitely happen on Saturday morning.
We are going to be professional. We are going to be impartial, and we create a enabling environment for all the political parties.
Permanent Secretary at the Foreign Affairs Ministry, Ambassador Mustafa Suleiman, assured the diplomats that the ministry is available to provide any window required for engagement on the elections. The heads of mission accredited to Nigeria might be leaving the Ministry of Foreign Affairs better informed on the preparations for the rescheduled elections come Saturday. However, they have indicated through the interaction that they will continue to monitor the process even after the votes are counted. From the Foreign Affairs Headquarters in Abuja, Makut Simon Macham, NTA News.
The People's Democratic Party has enjoined the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to maintain neutrality in line with its constitutional mandate in the coming presidential and National Assembly elections. The party's National Publicity Secretary and Director of Presidential Campaign Organization, Kola Ologbondiyan, stated this while briefing the media in Abuja. Timothy Yusuf was there.
Kola Ologbondiyan noted that Nigerians have made huge sacrifices for a free, fair, credible and transparent election to vote for the candidate of their choice in the February 23rd elections. He reminded the party's members of the need to strengthen mobilization for the victory of their presidential candidate, Atiku Abubakar.
The People's candidate is a Democrat.
Meanwhile, the Action Democratic Party's presidential candidate, Yabagi Yusuf Sani, has expressed the hope that INEC will conduct a peaceful and credible election this Saturday. He urged Nigerians to turn out en masse and vote for the candidate of their choice.
February 23rd is the day that I believe will make all the other days for this country to be great.
The factional national chairman of the Social Democratic Party, Shupo Shonibare, at a media briefing in Abuja, has urged INEC to engage all critical stakeholders in its pre-election and post-election processes in an open and transparent atmosphere.
I call upon all SDP party members and supporters nationwide to come out in their multitudes on Saturday, the election day.
He called on party members and supporters to conduct themselves peacefully during the conduct of the coming polls. In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NT News.
In the meantime, the federal government has declared Friday, 22nd February 2019 as Work-Free Day to enable Nigerians prepare for the rescheduled presidential and National Assembly elections on Saturday. The Work-Free Day, however, excludes workers providing essential services such as banks, hospitals, airlines and security services, among others. Minister of Interior Abdurrahman Bello Dambazau, who declared the Work-Free Day on behalf of the federal government, enjoins Nigerians to keep faith with the nation's electoral system. He urges Nigerians to utilize the Work-Free Day to travel to their various polling centers to exercise their civic responsibility of voting for candidates of their choice. The minister reassures Nigerians and the international observers of the safety of lives and property during the elections, as security agencies have been directed to remain vigilant and conduct themselves professionally throughout the exercise. This is NTA News Extra. Time now to take another short break. We'll be back in just a moment. Stay with us.
Ahead of the rescheduled presidential election for February 23rd, the 4,000 canvassers for Buhari Osibajo door-to-door campaign program for President Buhari's re-election recently inaugurated in Asaba, the Delta State capital, with a mandate to move to every nook and cranny of the state to drum support for the president's re-election, have once again hit the road in continuation of their assignment. They believe that victory for Mr. Integrity is a task that must be accomplished. Fellow Deltans, Nigerians, let's come out in our great numbers, just as we did last Saturday, and prove our worth. Our vote for PMB is a future guaranteed.
We are going to even increase the number of people we are going to commission.
Vote President Buhari again as he continues the good work he has started. Next level for Buhari Osibajo 2019. Vote for PMB. Let's add 4 more years for President Buhari. This message is powered by Mainstream Delta APC.
All TVs say picture quality, but never mention the most important color, black. It uncovers the hidden details of nature, brings out the richness in all colors, and reveals life. With self-lighting pixels, only OLED TVs make perfect black, and perfect black creates perfect color. LG OLED TV.
Great people of Nigeria, we members of ECO Plus Support Group join our indefatigable President Muhammadu Buhari to sincerely apologize to all Nigerians for the postponement of the general elections by the Independent National Electoral Commission. President Muhammadu Buhari has condemned this action just like every Nigerian. However, as the people and supporters of President Muhammadu Buhari's developmental agenda, we call on Lagosians and all Nigerians to stand together and be determined in our resolve to ensure victory for Mr. President by coming out on Saturday to vote Muhammadu Buhari again as President and Professor Yemi Osinbajo as Vice President. Despite the inconveniences of the days, Nigeria is surely moving forward with Muhammadu Buhari and Professor Yemi Osinbajo's presidency. Let's vote right. Vote for progress. Vote Muhammadu Buhari for president. APC moving on to the next level. This message is from ECO Plus Support Group.
I thought leaving the country was the best decision for me and my future.
I left for a better life.
We were picked up by immigration officials and sent to a detention camp.
I spent 8 months in the detention camp.
There was no food, no water.
I saw people being beaten like animals.
Some women were raped. Some women were sold as slaves.
I thought I would never see my loved ones again.
I have made the biggest mistake of my life.
I have wasted all my savings.
I have to start all over again.
Migration is a human phenomenon which cannot be stopped. But if we choose to migrate, we advocate that it should be done in a safe, orderly, regular, and dignified way, and not in a dangerous and tortuous manner.
This message is brought to you by the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants, and Internally Displaced Persons.
I am fully persuaded that Nigeria needs a man who is credible. I am Chris Okotie. Dependable and trustworthy.
I am Chris Okotie.
I am Chris Okotie.
My mandate, therefore, will be to set a government which I've christened Government of National Reconciliation and Reconstruction as the mechanical instrumentality for the crystallization of the new Nigeria of our dreams. It's time to love Nigeria. It's time to fix Nigeria. I'm Reverend Chris Okotie.
It's time to fix Nigeria. If you love Nigeria, say, aha, aha.
His popularity in Delta State is outstanding. Deltans love and adore our president. APC! From Warri, Agbo, Asaba, and Ogwashu. From Iseluku, Obiaruku, Ugeli, Ozoro, Owe, and Sapele. Come with us to Bamadi, Burutu, Ole, and Abraka. Nigeria! Everywhere in Delta, our people yearn for Mr. President. Let's vote and re-elect President Muhammadu Buhari as president. Vote Great Oveja Ogboru for governor. Vote APC.
If you love the change the way you see and you want me to sustain them, vote APC. 4+4 now 8 and nothing fit to change them. Vote APC.
Shana next level be the vision for the nation. Oh.
Vote APC.
We no go stop to fight corruption, that one not for sure. Oh.
Vote APC. I am a lele. I am a lele. If you want to sweep jati jati, show me your broom. I am a lele. I am a lele. If you want to sweep yama yama, show me your broom.
I am a lele. I am a lele. For quality education, show me your broom. I am a lele. I am a lele. Security in our nation, show me your broom.
Sure you don't hear about the trade.
I'm glad to have you back with us on NTA News Extra. And our Lagos studio is where we go next to join Abolade Salami with business news.
Thank you, Fatima. Good evening and welcome to Business News segment. The 2.09% annual growth rate recorded by the manufacturing sector in 2018 can improve if stakeholders review the Industrial Revolution Plan. Director General Manufacturers Association of Nigeria MAN, Segun Ajayi Kadri, in an exclusive interview with NTA's Business News, said the challenges impeding the sector's growth must be addressed. The manufacturing sector in fourth quarter of 2018 recorded an appreciable level of growth. The growth, which rose slightly from 9.18% in 2017 to 9.20% in 2018, had a marginal impact on the gross domestic product. The real GDP growth in the manufacturing sector in fourth quarter of 2018 was 2.35%, which was higher than the 0.14% recorded in the same quarter of 2017 and 1.92% recorded in the preceding quarter. Director General, Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, Segun Ajayi Kadri, however, believes that the sector can drive more growth and development if stakeholders look into the Industrial Revolution Plan with the aim to review its integration policies.
Has not fully come to the aid of the manufacturing sector. Even though we have a foreign exchange stability, in terms of the rate, it has remained high. And for the manufacturing sector that has a long gestation period and very low margin on our products, it is still something that remains a challenge. It has lowered due to the efforts of CBN. We commend them for that, but more still needs to be done. So by and large, the environment, even though has improved, we are not yet there.
He submitted that if stakeholders can address the double-digit interest rates for manufacturers in the country, the sector will become more viable. The fiscal discipline of the federal government has resulted in the control of illegal cash evacuation from the government coffers. Acting President, Association of Bureau de Change Operators, Aminu Gabade said this singular move has helped restore sanity and stability in the FX market despite election. He added that the registration of over 60 international money transfer operators, IMTOs, by the Central Bank of Nigeria and operations of the investors on exporters window also contributed to stability.
Too much money in circulation. So, and I think this, the federal government too, by their TSA, they were able to mop up a lot of money that will have ab initio chasing dollar to any rate that the dollar will go. And today, we have never in the history of election, the first in the world, whereby you have even stronger currency at an election period. This is the first period that we have achieved this kind of figure. The peg rate the CBN put as an official rate for the Burundian to sell dollar is 360 naira to $1. But as we are talking today, the dollar is selling at 358.50 in an election period. It has never happened.
Let's talk equities. Midweek trading closed in the green. Let's join Nina Nerut Musa for details.
Equities market closed midweek trading on a positive note, appreciating by 0.64% to close the all-share index at 32,614.05 basis points. Volume of shares were 443 million, valued at 5.64 billion naira, which exchanged hands in 4,697 deals. Market capitalization closed at 12.16 trillion naira. Nigeria Breweries, Mobil, and UACN led the gainers list, while Nestle, Unilever, and GlaxoSmith led the losers list. On sectoral performance, NSE Banking, NSE Consumer Goods, NSE Insurance, and NSE Oil and Gas all posted gains, appreciating by 0.81%, 1.43%, 1.22% and 0.99% respectively, while NSE Industrial depreciated by 0.02%. That concludes Stock Market Report. It's back to you, Abolade.
Thank you, Nina. And that's a wrap on business news. It's back to Fatima in Abuja for the continuation of the news. Good evening.
Thank you so much, Abolade. Moving on, one of the areas where Nigerians have taken investment is in bulk retail sales of liquefied petroleum gas, LPG. But our correspondent, Olubukola Aduwon, reports from Akure that proliferation of these gas retail outlets in the state is raising safety concerns among residents as they want relevant authorities to intervene in the areas of supervision and regulation.
The use of liquefied petroleum gas LPG for domestic cooking is considered convenient, clean, pocket-friendly, and faster than the conventional use of stove or firewood. Statistics show that the campaign to get more Nigerians to use domestic gas for cooking is gaining ground as more Nigerians are now adopting the clean energy for cooking. This consequent increase in patronage is leading all manner of persons into the gas business, as domestic gas retail outlets are springing up in almost every available shops, street corners, markets, and residential quarters across the country. In Akure, for instance, it has become a thing of worry as residents lament the dangers posed by siting some of these gas retail outlets with very poor safety measures.
These people go and buy gas through cylinder, and by that they also fill through cylinder, and this is very, very dangerous.
The controlling authorities should try to maybe regulate where gas should be filled.
Their fears were confirmed recently when a gas station located in the heart of the town exploded, causing extensive damage to the property and causing panic among residents and passerbys.
This is the charred remains of what used to be a flourishing gas retail outlet in Akure, the Ondo State capital. Its location close to a petrol station and poor safety facilities call to question the regulatory and supervisory arrangements put in place for siting of a volatile facility of this nature.
Siting your gases stations, petrol stations and co in that area is going to pollute, is going to affect that area. Therefore, precautions must be taken, and those ones are going to be incorporated into what you call the environmental impact assessment.
Much of the blame have been heaped on state authorities on account of poor regulation, both in siting of gas facilities and monitoring operators.
As soon as we give a basement letter to them, if they do not, close up the shop immediately, we are going to, they are going to be arrested and we send them to court.
Thank God no life was lost in the recent gas explosion in Akure, but the owner, Mr. Matthew Egbogun, suffered huge losses and is now appealing to the authorities to come to his aid. In Akure, Olubukola Aduwo, NTA News.
Now, many in Taraba State will soon reap the benefit of the federal government's housing scheme following the completion of work on the first phase of the program in Jalingo, the state capital. Joseph Otson, who visited the site of the project, reports that the 76 housing units is waiting inauguration.
Infrastructural development is among the major steps the present administration has taken to provide affordable housing and create employment opportunities for many. Towards this direction, the federal government has launched a massive housing scheme across the country. In Taraba State, the construction of a 76 housing unit was flagged off in 2016. The houses have been completed and connected to the national grid.
The land here was acquired through the operation of the state government, and it was strategically located along Jalingo-Bukari Road for easy accessibility.
Right now, we are in the first phase, which is now completed, fully completed. We have infrastructural services provided, like water, roads, electricity. Also have 5 boreholes, and 1 underground and 2 overhead tanks.
So this site is one of the most advanced sites we have in the Northeast.
The 76 housing unit, the Federal Ministry of Power, Works and Housing say it is covering just about 5.8 hectares of the land out of the 16 hectares approved for it. In Jalingo, Joseph Sound Otsen, NTA News.
Lagos-Ibadan Expressway still on the news. Did I hear you say again? Yes, again, but for good this time around. We'll bring you the details when we return after the break.
Nigeria na we country, APC na the party, na woman be our choice. Nigeria na we country, APC na the party, na woman be our choice. Who be the president we know? Na he be the president we want. Who be the president we know? Na he be the president we want.
to finish him war.
People of Nigeria, now we for Eco Plus support group, the joint President Muhammadu Buhari, beg all of una for the election where INEC carry go another date. Now as the thing vex everybody, now so it vex President Buhari. People of Nigeria, make we all patient, make we not give up, make we ready to come out this Saturday election day to vote Muhammadu Buhari as president and Professor Yemi Osinbajo as vice president. Them know the tell blind man say salt they super. As we vote him again, work go jabrata, more money go share for our market women and men where they do business and many other better things. Oga President Buhari, Nigeria people they your back, carry go. This message now from Eco Plus support group. Bam.
Team huddle.
But we lost.
Don't be tired, guys. This isn't a loss. It's a practice for winning.
Nothing makes a mother prouder than seeing her child growing up. But I know as he learns to lead, he'll face even more dirt, germs, and risk of illness.
That's why in changing seasons, you need strong Dettol protection. Because Dettol protects from up to 100 illness-causing germs.
Growing up needs Dettol protection.
When you wake up in the morning, before you start your day, breakfast time is Kellogg's time. For work and for play, for a great start to your day, breakfast time is Kellogg's time.
We always start our day with a nourishing Kellogg's breakfast, powered with the goodness of grains and 11 essential vitamins and minerals. So in our family, breakfast time is Kellogg's time.
Breakfast time is Kellogg's time. Nigerian women, una dead, yeah. Market women, una dead, yeah. Time we don't reach, oh, where we go pay back. Person we make life better, make we vote now. Who give us electricity? President Buhari. Airport, President Buhari. Railway, President Buhari. Peace and security, President Buhari. They feed our children, President Buhari. For school, President Buhari. Better road, President Buhari. 4+4, President Buhari. Job creation, President Buhari. Empower, President Buhari. Trader money, President Buhari. Nigerian women, time we don't reach, oh, where we go pay back.
This message is brought to you by Ajia Salamatu Bewa, National Woman Leader, APC.
When I was a little girl, I loved spending time with Mum and Grandma cleaning the house. I was so excited to sing in the choir.
And your shirts are always so white.
I knew what Mum's secret was. Today, I'm a modern woman that still trusts the secrets passed down to me. It's Jik, of course. The original trusted bleach, which can be used all around your house for amazing results.
Shh, it's our little secret.
It's no secret. It's Jik's best ever extra whitening power. Just Jik it.
We, the Nigerian youth, have resolved to stand with you, Baba, in the next level. We recognize your commitment to create jobs and empower the youth. Your strategic policies in the agri-sector has not only increased gainful employment and boosted production, but also saved the nation billions of dollars in foreign exchange. We are benefiting from your deployment of infrastructure across the country, with Abuja, Kaduna, and Lagos-Abeokuta rail lines completed. Itakpe-Ajaokuta-Warri rail line will soon be completed, while Lagos-Kano rail line is under construction. Additional 1,531 kilometers of roads have been completed and over 1,000 kilometers rehabilitated across the country. The second Niger bridge is on the way through Presidential Infrastructure Development Fund. Hydropower plants in Mambila, Zungeru, and many other power projects are under construction to add value to the improved power generation, transmission, and distribution in the country. Brokering and sustaining peace in the Niger Delta has helped stabilize the economy, thereby increasing investment in the oil and gas sector. We are coming with you to the next level to see the Empower scheme increase to 1.5 million beneficiaries and full implementation of the 10 billion Naira Youth Entrepreneurship Project. Nigerian youth, let's connect to the next level. This message is powered by Dr. Tony Uoye, Director Youth Mobilization, APC Presidential Campaign Council.
What's up?
His friends didn't come.
Hey, let's practice.
But you're going out.
Don't worry about me.
Nothing satisfies a mother more than seeing a child grow up. But I know as he sweats, he'll face the risk of germs which can cause skin irritation.
That's why you need the new best ever Dettol Cool. Its new advanced formulation with extra menthol protects from up to 100 illness-causing germs and gives your family icy cool freshness.
Growing up needs Dettol protection.
It's good to know you're still out there watching News Extra. The construction work on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway has attained 35% completion rate, following additional work by the federal government last year. Dotun Ogunyemi, who is monitoring the progress of work on the road, reports that while motorists are experiencing less traffic, there is a need for caution on the part of road users to avoid accidents, especially along construction areas.
Every day, progress is being made, and everyone who drives along the corridors of the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway will attest to the fact that earth-moving equipment and men are always busy. It would be recalled that on the 18th of December 2018, several construction areas on the road were opened to traffic for the Yuletide, suspending constructions. However, since January, the contractors have resumed work, creating several diversions like this one at kilometer 15. The completion of the road is a priority of the federal government, as well as for Abayomi Aremu and other motorists.
Because I dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ ìjọba tó wà lórí tàbí tí ń bá wa ṣe náà díẹ̀díẹ̀. Wọ́n wá tó ti ṣe lọ́wọ́ kó tún bá wa ràn wọ́n lọ́wọ́ kó tún lè parí iṣẹ́ tó ń ṣe lọ.
Giving us a brief of the project layout, design and level of completion, the Federal Controller of Works in Lagos, Adamawa Kuti, says additional works on the road will include a toll plaza, pedestrian bridges, flyovers and weighbridge.
Most of the sections that were not completed before we left during the Christmas season, a good number of them, we have now completed them and opened them completely to traffic. Presently, we are walking around the MFM area, about kilometer 15, and another section we opened up is around Redeem area, around kilometer 26. But in between them, all the sections that were completed
before the final binding course. Now, all of these are part of the federal government's infrastructure renewal drive aimed at easing the transportation stress on Nigerians, especially along the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. In Lagos, Dotun Ogunyemi, NTA News.
Now, the Air Task Force of Operation Lafia Dole has decimated a Boko Haram camp and neutralized some of their fighters at a settlement called Arboko in Borno State. A statement by the Director of Public Relations and Information, Nigerian Air Force, Air Commodore Ibikule Daramola, indicates that NAV operating in concert with surface forces sustains its efforts to completely destroy all remnants of the terrorists.
Sparkling clean toilet.
Wow!
New Epic Connect gives me the freedom from toilet day.
Your perfect family is under threat by germs. Infectious diseases are now the world's biggest killer of adults and children. These infectious diseases are caused by germs. They are everywhere. An average human being comes in contact with over 1 million germs daily in unclean water, dirty surfaces, in the toilets, on cuts and wounds, on your clothes. Germs can cause deadly diseases like typhoid, diarrhea, flu, and cough. To protect your family from germs, use the power of Dettol's One Cup Flu for surface cleaning in your bathing water, in your laundry water, for first aid to protect your family from up to 100 illness-causing germs.
Introducing Dettol Antiseptic Liquid in Sachet for only 40 naira.
Endorsed by the Nigerian Medical Association.
Manager people, make we make the right choice, yo. Make we vote for a man of integrity. Hey, and so make we gather together and make this change. Work, my people of Nigeria. Together we go carry Niger to the next level. Niger don't decide. Vote Baba Buhari. Baba Buhari, the man of integrity. Hey, vote Baba Buhari. Man, we no corrupt, we no go chop our money. Hey, agriculture, the next level. Fight corruption, the next level. Good roads, to the next level. Electricity, to the next level. Railway, the next level. Empower, the next level. Trade money. For good health we go. Baba Buhari. My people, for the next level. ABC, next level. Niger people, make we all come out to vote Baba Buhari.
This message is from Buhari Next Level Group.
Thanks for rejoining us again on News Extra. The harrowing experience of Boko Haram attacks on communities can better be imagined, considering the difficulties the IDPs always go through. The recent fire disaster that gutted Mongono IDP camp worsened the plight of the IDPs just as they are picking the pieces of their lives. Respite seems to have come their way, as Director General of NEMA, Mustafa Mehaja, went visiting with a consignment of food and non-food items. Ilyasu Ali Yakubu has the details.
A recent fire that gutted Mongono IDP camp might have added to the plight of the IDPs. But the deployment of these materials by NEMA no doubt brought smiles on the faces of the IDPs. The narratives of lamentation, agony and depression among the IDPs recently hit by a fire disaster in Mongono IDP camp is seen to have changed, judging from the wide smiles on their faces as NEMA commenced distribution of food and non-food items, including erection of tents to provide immediate shelter. The IDPs commended the federal government for responding promptly to their needs all the time. Director General of NEMA, Mustafa Mehaja, who again sympathized with the IDPs over the recent fire outbreak, maintained that the agency will always strive to meet the needs of the IDPs.
They will give us the list of the people in each of their domain, and then we'll share the items house to house as the new culture of NEMA distributing items house to house to who really need them. This is what we are going to do from today.
And NEMA has responded very promptly to our call, and they have come very timely to assist our people and to give them some succor.
The Mongono IDP camp has about 5,000 IDPs, out of which 3 persons lost their lives during the recent fire disaster. From Mongono in Borno State, Ilyasu Ali Yakubu, NTA News.
And we now take our last break on the program. Sports and weather up next.
Are you that electorate who collects money from political party A, political party B, and political party C, and then promise all of them under oath to vote for them on the day of elections? Hear this. If you sell your vote and then go on to vote for more than one political party or candidate, your vote shall be declared null and void. Your vote will not count. You will have lost an opportunity to vote a good leader because you sold your vote. Are you a politician who goes round buying votes? Hear this. The money you spend buying votes may not count. The electorate who is selling his vote to you may have sold same vote to other parties and candidates. Stop buying votes. Stop selling votes. Let's join hands to make our elections credible. Your vote is your power. Use it to build a great nation. This message is from the National Orientation Agency.
Well, that's all the time we have for News Extra this week. We thank you for joining us. We'll be taking our sports update and weather report to other news bulletins on NTA. Until we come your way again, same time, same station next week. On behalf of all of us out here, thank you for joining us, and I wish you a pleasant day.
Nigerian Television Authority. For more information and news updates, visit our website at www.nta.ng, or you can follow us on Twitter at NTA News Now, or you can like us on Facebook at NTA Network News. Stay connected on our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/NTA News Online. Watch our live stream at www.nta.ng/live. NTA, you can't beat the rich.